They just lost against Brazil, who've been terrible.
They lost against Brazil in a game that wasn't, by the way, it was a good friendly. It was quite intense, especially the first half. Brazil was creating chances, but also making a lot of free kicks. So I wouldn't be worried at all if I was England. I think England will do brilliant in the championship.
Wow. All right. Jules, are you as optimistic after that?
Not really. Not quite. I mean, I'm not Southgate's biggest fan. I've had enough of him for a very long time now. And tonight I'm watching this game and I just don't see anything. And I know Saka is not there and Kane is not there and they're two very important players. But to go along with what Craig was saying about Phil Foden, for example, let's just take Phil Foden as an example. For me, what Southgate is not good at doing, which is a big problem for me. Because I can understand what Jan is saying. Let's stay positive. They still have so much talent. They can do very well at the Euros. It's not all on this game. But take Foden just as an example. Maybe the best player, one of the best players in the Premier League right now. One of the top 3 in the Premier League right now in terms of form, right? He plays 90 minutes tonight. Do you know how many times he touched the ball in the Brazil box? 0. 0 in 90 minutes. Playing right winger and number 10. He never touched the ball in the opposition box. So one of your best players, maybe tonight your most informed player, is kept away from the box, away from where you want him to be, in the danger area, the whole game. So there's no way he can influence the game, he can be decisive. There's just nothing. So how can you, a manager, and you look at your team, and I really hope Southgate will look at it and say, okay, this is wrong. We did something clearly wrong here to not put Foden in a position where he can actually influence the game, seeing how good he is and how in great form he's been so far. And of course you see Rice and Bellingham, but you just don't see anything that is actually improving with the ball, attacking-wise for this team. Never, but it was the same the last 2 games in November. I remember being on the show, we said the same thing. It's too pedestrian, there's no rhythm, there's no patterns of play, there's just nothing, and they're not ruthless enough, all of that. Today they could have lost 3-0 easily. It could have been 3 or 4 easily. And it's just 1, it's a late goal by Hendrick, so we're going to say, okay, it's nothing. I think it's quite worrying, actually.
I think that was the other part of the problem, wasn't just the lack of getting those players. I mean, how many times did a ball fizz across the box and Ollie Watkins almost get in there and you thought, well, he almost... Yeah. I don't remember at all. And here's a guy that loves to attack the ball in the box for the reasons we've all mentioned and Jules just touched on. But it's not just that. It's the worrying that it's worrisome for England and Southgate how easily they got opened up on the counter-attack. And I think performances like this, although it's England-Brazil and, it's on paper it's a close game, 1-0, as Jules said, it could have been 2 or 3, maybe more. I think this is the kind of performance that sends Southgate back into his worrisome double pivot midfield. Jordan Henderson, are you fit again? I need you to come in because, Declan Rice in there's not going to be enough. And if Conor Gallagher's going to try and support, if Declan Rice is going to have to... I think he's worried about Declan Rice having to cover all this ground and make up for the deficiencies of the defence.
Right.
And I think that's why he becomes super cautious and he thinks, right, I need to get somebody else in there. We go back to the cautious side of it. Even before the game, to me, only bringing Kobe Mino in at the last minute because there was an injury to Bukayo Saka, only bringing him in because of that tells you that he should have been in the squad even before the great performance at Old Trafford against Liverpool. He's done enough this season to say, it's a friendly. I don't need to see what Jordan Henderson can do. I don't know what we see what Conor Gallagher can do. But you come in here and I'll give you a little taste of being amongst the full squad. And yes, he got his debut, but he was going to be playing for the under-21s up until people withdrew from the team.
But if there is one thing that Gareth Southgate has done well is to get the young players into an international stage. So that Mino, yes, I understand. We love him. We love to see him. But he's like 12, isn't he? So that put him in an under-21.
Well, he's 18 and the guy that scored the goal for Brazil was 17.
Absolutely, Craig. I'm with you on that one. We discussed this player now. And Gareth Southgate has done well at doing that. So that won't be the biggest problem. And who can go to the Euros anyway. So I don't think that is the toughest decision that Gareth Southgate had to do.
How has he done well at doing that? He couldn't help but pick the Bukayo Sakas, the Phil Fodens, all the, you know, Jude Bellingham.
So
he couldn't.
So he
help
could never
but
win
pick
then.
them.
So he could never win then because I'm that old that I remember some England managers with a high-profile name who were knocked out very early in all championship, and so he had to pick Beckham, he had to pick Scholes, he had to pick everybody. So that is the attitude to them. So a national coach can only pick them. So whatever the national coach do, then you have to find the same way of the arguments here, Craig.